Chase, is there anything video wise, a series that you watch or something that you don't particularly do or have interest in doing yourself, but you have a deep fascination of watching? I'll go first.
Ooh, okay.
I find myself watching restoration videos of
Mm,
rusted, like, tools or toys. Like there was one that was an old school bread slicer, and like these things look like they are lifeless, but people will take
sure.
the time. Like they do watches, like busted up watches, take them apart. It's very fascinating, the art of restoration, especially when we have a lot of things that just aren't built to last anymore.
Totally.
I I am very much like I will tune into that and watch like those things happen from time to time.
So there was I had a phase of that. I got into that same thing because I think I watched like a restored Game Boy from a
Yeah.
couple or like a couple of those kinds of things. And it was like, oh, that's really cool the way they fixed that up, and here's how you fix the yellowing on some of those things, and
Yep.
that's pretty neat. And then I saw, oh, they had more of like, here's this toy car and the way they use the propylene or whatever. So yeah, I was into that for a bit. I have a lot of these that are just like small phases. I had one where it was like woodworking stuff,
Yep.
which was just fun to like watch the guy work on the lathe, or like the way he combines all these pieces of wood and smacks them together and glues them together, and then he cuts them in such a way that this bowl can be like really like
Totally.
have a lot of different shapes and grains and colors to it. Like
But
that's
not the
pretty
final
cool.
shape.
We'll talk about it. I'm looking down my YouTube subscriptions. I want to
Oh
see if there's
God.
like another one.
We don't need to.
Yeah, I have a lot of YouTube subscriptions,
Oh God.
but I don't actually watch a lot of these. I mean, some of these are like obvious. Like I watch like Summoning Salt. I like his
Yeah,
speedrun
yeah,
videos a lot for video game stuff. I've got Destiny YouTubers I watch. I've got
for
TV
sure.
YouTubers that I watch. A lot of Magic the Gathering stuff these days, obviously. Um, I like Babish. I like
Oh
the
yeah,
cooking stuff
yeah.
with binging with
Benching with
Babish. That's been
badges,
pretty
very
good.
fucking cool.
Um,
Cooking stuff's like a given. I think like there's just a deep
I'll give you.
fascination there.
Here's one of my weirdest ones. Um, there's a YouTuber named Gabby Bell, Gabibelle.
Okay.
Uh, she's my youth. she's she's the
The
person who
youth.
tells me about all the youth shit, all the what's going on with Gen Z. I think she's actually like a young millennial, but
Okay.
she's like in tune with all that stuff, and I just like watching her stuff and her talk about drama that I have no business being a part of, but it's just kind of interesting to hear some of that stuff.
We're all
Also, I found
sickos.
out she has the same birthday as me, which
God,
is fun. So
you're
that's fun.
just Gen Z, aren't you?
It's true. Yes, I'm
A little
totally new
Zoomer.
and hip. Oh, I also since I just watched it, the I watched Jenny Nicholson too. I like her like
Oh, cool.
incredibly long breakdowns of
Yeah.
why theme parks are bad, or why
You
like
watched her Star Wars one.
I just watched the
Ooh.
Galactic Star Cruiser one, which a 4 hour video with 20 separate parts. I was like, okay, I'll watch this of a
God,
theme park I will never go to and really don't care about at
you're a
all.
sick son of a bitch.
But it was fun. It was fun. That pole was really in her face the whole time. They sat her in the worst seat in the house. Uh,
Sure.
anyway, yeah,
Awesome,
always
man.
needs to go down.
Well, here's what we do here, Chase. This is a monthly preview episode. It's May 29th. This is episode 377. I'm Bobby. That's Chase. We're going to tell you all about the games coming out in June. But before we do that, we'll let you know about some of the games that we've been recently checking out. And then we're going to recap our picks from May. And we will deal with our front to God and let you know if we got it right. And then we'll go through the games, watch some trailers, tell you what we think it looks good, and then give you our picks at the end of the episode. So these are our once a month episodes that Chase and I do. One of my favorite ones. We also do just our standard what you've been playing. We do quick looks. We have all kinds of stuff on YouTube. Wherever you're watching this from, hang out, tune in. And welcome to the refresh of the show. We have done a complete overhaul of our stream, both on portrait and on landscape, wherever you're watching. So we've got some fun stuff planned for you, but
It
I
smells better
figured
here.
it smells better here, it looks better here, and we wanted to give you all a nice facelift. So all the stuff that you would need to know about us is right there beneath Chase and I. And let's get into what you've been playing, Chase. What's on your mind? What's new? What's
Yeah.
hot?
I want to run through a couple quick things. So usually when we do preview episodes, we stick to one game per person, and I want to stick to that. But one, June is very thin. It's going to be pretty
Hmm.
short. And two, I just want to like roll through a couple of these. I beat Animal Well. Animal Well's great. I think that ending's real cool.
Awesome.
I had a great time. Miraculously, after I saw credits, I was like, well, maybe I can find a couple more eggs.
Oh,
So I did do a couple more things, but then at one point I went, okay, I don't need to play this anymore. I played more Aiden Chronicle 100 Heroes, and it's okay. I'm still getting through stuff. I found the Bakugan mini game.
oh, okay.
Bobby, do you
Okay.
remember Bakugan
No,
or
maybe.
Beyblades? Do you
Oh, yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Beyblades?
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Beyblades. I never played it, but I'm
Uh,
aware. I know what that is.
yeah, they have fucking Beyblades in this game.
Oh, God damn it.
Like it's just a mini game of like here are these tops, and obviously we're doing a Beyblade reference, but also there's a Pokemon professor that you can kind
Jesus
of get
Christ.
onto your team, but he gives you the choice between three different Beyblades to start with. They call them Begamas. But he's like, do you want the fire or the water or the wind Begama? And I'm like, you need to pick which dumb anime toy reference you're going with here.
Jesus. Get it together.
And then I and then I tried to play against my new Begama rival for the first time, and as soon as the two tops touched, I got a hard crash, and I went,
Oh,
okay,
God.
maybe I don't, maybe
The
I
game,
don't
the
want to
game
do this.
crashed?
Yeah, the game crashed as soon as the
Woo!
tops touched.
Fuck.
I loaded it back up and I played through, got through it, and it was okay. But I
All
don't
right.
like that mini game at all. I don't understand it. I don't
Hey.
know what they want me to do.
It sounds like why I stopped playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
But the rest of the game is still fine. I think it would be a lot better with fast travel, and I know you get a
Sure.
character who helps with fast travel at some point, but I haven't gotten there yet. So the game is still
Yeah.
just kind of little bits of annoying here and there. But again, I'm playing on the Switch, which is the worst version of that for multiple reasons.
It sounds rough, my friend.
Let me tell you about a new game, and by a new game I mean an old game that's new to me.
That sounds on brand for you.
Yeah, this was my May wheel spin.
Oh,
game.
yeah.
My backlog roulette game was World of Final Fantasy Maximus, right? Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it's called.
I just have Final Fantasy Maximus on the screen, but yes, World of Final Fantasy is what you have.
So World of Final Fantasy is the game, and then like there was a Maximus version for Switch. Doesn't matter what you wrote, it's fine. That's that. I don't think people should play this game. I think this game kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's got all the bullshit of Kingdom Hearts and less of the interesting, fun stuff of Kingdom Hearts.
Is there anything interesting about Kingdom Hearts?
I mean, I don't know.
Let me look this thing
actiony
up.
Stuff that's going
World
on
of
there.
Final
Like,
Fantasy.
there's some cool kind of game. Yeah, World of Final Fantasy Maximus is the title.
Okay.
So what happens here? You play as a sister
Wait.
brother.
Is it Final Fantasy Maxima or Maximus?
World of Final Fantasy : Maximus, I think.
There is a World of Final Fantasy Maxima I'm looking at right now too.
And that's
though.
probably it.
Okay.
Maxima, sure, okay. Who cares? Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
certainly I don't, but I didn't know if I should be looking at that one or another one.
Yeah, that's the one. So you play as this brother sister, and they're in like a town where nobody
Jesus
is.
Christ.
Nobody's in this town, and then like another woman comes in and says like, "Oh yeah, you two are like the greatest spirit Pokemon users of all time," and they're like, "Oh, okay, what?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm God. Anyway, see ya." And and then she goes away, and then they go into like a new world, isekai style. You know what isekais are.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, everybody understands that. And it's kind of a turn. It's definitely a turn-based RPG. It has the ATB active time battle system.
You hate that.
That I normally hate. I think this game does it a little better than most because it's very clear on whose turn it is, when the turns are coming up, and it does have a wait mode that actually works the way I want a wait mode to work. So you see the bar rise on, okay, this character's turn it's about to be, and now it's their turn, and now I can stop the action, choose an action for my character to do, and they do the action. So the ACB stuff, which I normally hate, is fine in here. That's not my issue with the game. I think my issue is that it's just kind of boring, and it feels like such a missed opportunity. Like, the whole point of this game is it's the world of Final Fantasy. We put
Is it Sora?
all no, it's a Sora equivalent, but it's not Sora.
Okay.
But we have all these characters in there. Cloud Strife is in this game.
Jesus.
Like a lot of the Lightning is in this game. All these Final Fantasy protagonists are in the game. You're like, okay, a turn-based Final Fantasy RPG where you can play with all of the Final Fantasy people and a bunch of classic Final Fantasy monsters that you can kind of collect like Pokemon. In fact, there's definitely a Pokemon equivalent of where you like throw prisms at things and you can collect them in the prisms and then your partners or whatever. Like, it's 100% like, okay, you made a Pokemon Final Fantasy where I can have Final Fantasy monsters fight alongside classic Final Fantasy protagonists. I'm in. That sounds great. But that's not what happens. What happens is you have these two fucking dorks, and then there's this stacking system, which is mechanically, I kind of get it. So the idea here is that you have a large, a medium, and a small, and your main two characters can be either large or medium. And if you make them medium, they turn into like chibi versions of themselves, and if you go large, they're just their regular Kingdom Hearts weirdish. I mean, they're still weird proportions, but they look more human than like the tiny chibi.
Sure.
But then the idea is that you stack them. So you have to have your large on bottom, you can have a medium, and then you can have a small, or you can have a small on top of your large, but the medium can never go on top of the small. Like, you understand how
what is this game?
It's still Pokemon. It's just that your Pokemon kind of have to fit in different stacks on different people, and then their stats combine, and then they can do different abilities.
Let me get something straight with you really quick. How many hours have you put into this?
Oh, not many, like 3.
And I just need to know right now in this moment, are there going to be more hours added to that 3, you think?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
So you're not liking it. But and I understand.
It's a cautionary tale.
Yes, fair. Okay.
I'm our audience.
I'm picking up on that, but I wanted to just make sure that like the vibe was right. Chase doesn't like this. Not a recommendation, but more cautionary.
Totally.
Okay.
Usually when I do like these wheel spins, I want to give the game, I don't know, like 10 hours or so before I really decide this game fucking sucks. But like this one, I'm pretty. You
knew right away.
Pretty clear from the beginning though. Like, oh, this is not what I wanted. So all the classic Final Fantasy people you'd want all come in the medium version, all in the chibi version. So you don't even get like, oh, that's cool Cloud Strife, or that's cool Tidus, or whatever. They're all these dumb little things. And then the Final Fantasy monsters, like, oh, I have like a small chocobo that goes on the head of my medium character, which then goes on the top of this larger, kind of cool Final Fantasy thing. I mean, they're chibi, but they're not like quite Funko Pop style.
Thank God.
There's at least more of a style to them than that. It's just, I think mechanically it's kind of interesting because you can fight against other characters that will also have stacks, and there's a way to topple those stacks, and having something stacked increases your stats and increases the abilities that you can do. It can even modify some of the abilities. And I remember things that I liked from Golden Sun back on the Game Boy Advance, where it was like, okay, you had these Jin that you had equipped to you, and if you use some here, it changes the abilities that you can use when you have them on standby versus active. And okay, that's kind of interesting. And I see how that kind of translates to this, where okay, if I stack with this creature, it gives me these abilities, and I want those abilities so I can add them up that way. Maybe it changes my elemental weaknesses or something, and that's something that can be useful as well. But you just look like a fucking dork. Everybody looks like dorks because they have a bunch of shit stacked on their head.
Final Fantasy, baby.
It's not.
That's Final Fantasy. A bunch of fucking
Final
dorks.
Final Fantasy is people wear stupid clothing. You're right, but this is like physical characters standing on top of one and another, and it's It's just dumb. And then the rest of the game is just kind of slow and boring. All of the areas that I've gone to, it doesn't have like a free roaming camera.
Is this,
So
wait, are we talking about Maxima or Rebirth?
Rebirth has a free movie.
But it's slow and boring. Anyway.
Sometimes it's slow and boring. I would take Rebirth for
over this
200 hours.
Oh, fair.
Before
Well,
I played a single.
and
you
you might get out of the first area after 200 hours with all those mini games. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm not having a good time with World of Final Fantasy Maxima.
I'm sorry, man. That's a bummer.
The levels are really boring.
Sometimes you get the wheel, and sometimes the wheel gets you, Chase.
Sure. Hey, I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I understand.
You said Switch, right?
For me. It's on Switch. It's on everything though.
Okay.
This Maxima version was like it's not even a remaster. It's just like a bonus version that apparently.
Oh, so it's just World of Final Fantasy and then Maxima. I'm hip
and
now.
There's a Maxima.
Got it.
Of it.
I'm hip. I caught up. Look at me.
Eventually, but
Eventually.
now we're done. We're done with this section. So
well,
why don't we go to you because yeah, I'm not going to play this game.
I need to get back to Animal Well. I have not picked it up because it looks great. I want to talk to you about it, and I promise you by the time we get to end of the year stuff, I will absolutely be doing that. A quick check-in on V Rising. I've been playing a lot of that off stream with Zoe, and I am over halfway through Act 2. Got all kinds of new weapons. I ventured out. There's 4 acts, and I'm currently level 53, gear level 53, and the main boss, at least that you can see here on the map of things, is level 90. And it looks like you're going to fight Dracula. That's where all things point to Dracula. I have killed my first vampire hunter, and I found another one. You might know him from another video game called Castlevania. His name's Simon.
Oh. I've heard of Simon.
He just
the Belmonts.
Simon of the Belmont is just fucking walking around hunting you in this game, and that's pretty fucking cool. So that game continues to be rad. I am not prepared to call it one of the best survival games I've played, but it's definitely making a strong impression to be in that conversation. So we'll continue to play that game. You'll probably see me play it on Friday nights. I'll talk about it this year around Game of the Year time.
Let me ask you a little bit more while we're on it. I know when we tried to play it, or not we, I didn't play it.
Yeah.
But when you tried to play it with our good friend Pierce, on a casual Friday, we struggled a little bit when it came to linking up and getting you two to play together. I mean, you could be in the same world, but like actually interacting and giving each other stuff. Did you iron that out? Did you figure
totally
that out?
It's so even when we wrapped up with Pierce, what's really cool is so you basically just make a team on a server, and I'm paying for a server that can have like 10 people, and I can up that if needed. But when you're on a server, everything is just shared, and this is what's really cool. So like I've been grinding away on our server, and there's like a research bench that you can get stuff. Pierce can hop on, and I can go and fight the bosses with Pierce now, but Pierce can see what I've researched. Pierce can come to my castle and use it, and one of the bosses that I have to fight actually has a warp that you can put in your castles, and then we can just warp to each other's castle, which will be really cool. Okay. And Pierce is on the east side, I think, in a lot of ways, but on our map he's on the east side, and then I'm over on the west side. Should have been in the Midwest, but it wasn't as interesting, no surprise. And then Zoe's gonna go up north, fly over V Rising. But I did go because you just walk around to find new warp points. That game changes quite a bit. It gets very steampunk and all kinds of cool shit. It's neat, man. They that game is very well done.
Is there any PvP stuff?
There is there's a whole, like, that game is built to be PvP where you get into tower defense on putting shit around.
So I could jump into your server and not like join you and like build a rival castle.
You would immediately, like, when I first went to Pierce's spot, I had to knock to go into his spot. I could have damaged I could have torn it down, but now Pierce shows up as a blue icon. He's a blueberry on the map, and he is somebody that I can hang out with. So they do make just straight up PvP servers, and I have made my server a PvE because that's what I enjoy. And it's been great, like helping Zoe level up. It's cool because I'm just making kind of like duplicate gear whenever I get a new piece, and I put it in her chest, and when she hops on, she can just put that, and then she's my gear level, and she can help me with some of the harder bosses I've been struggling with. It's a hell of a thing. It's
So
great.
when so I mean, if you were to leave, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of curious about this.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's a reference to a television show I like. But like, if you, because it's real time, like if
Mhm.
you left to eat food or like
Yeah.
be a human being or go to work or whatever, like all your stuff is still there. Like
Mhm.
Pierce, if he wasn't like on your team, could go and just raise your entire castle, and you'd come back and find it in
On the
flames.
server, yeah. If you did it that way, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And like if Zoe leaves the game and she's not in her coffin, she'll just be floating like she's in one, and then you can go up and grab that character and move them somewhere. So like if there was an attack, you could like try and hide them or put them somewhere. So
Oh,
whenever I sign off, I try to make sure I'm in my coffin. What's really cool also is that I've now been able to go and you know all the blood type shit that's in it.
yeah.
So like you can find blood types and levels, and that's really important for you, but also now I can convert them to just basically be servants at the castle. And then I just unlocked the throne that basically turns it into Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So I can then send my servants out, and based off of their stats and ability and the gear I put on them, they can go into areas and just grind out the mats for me, and then I can go do other shit, come back with them, and then it gives you like a likelihood. It reminds me of a lot of Monster Hunter also when you send out all the critters to help out. It's a fantastic game.
Nice.
But the game I've been playing that has just made me incredibly happy is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door Remake.
That makes
And
me happy to hear that.
this is so. I think I told you off pod that I've always like Mario is one of my first loves, but as I've gotten older and even back in the day, I think outside of mainline Mario and maybe even competitively with it, Paper Mario is probably some of my favorite Mario. And
Great.
I have gaps in my resume that I look to close with some of my handheld stuff now. And I was trying to figure out why I didn't play this one. I had a GameCube, but then I realized this came out like 8 days before my 18th birthday. And
You were too old for that shit. That
I
baby
wasn't. I
shit.
don't think I was too old for it. I had also gotten heavily like invested in the PS2 because I started with the GameCube and I ended up getting a PS2, and I was playing a lot of games with my friends or out doing these things, and I missed this one. And I remember when I was playing Origami King and just telling you how much I love that game. You're like, everybody says Thousand Year Door is the best one, and I am coming up on the first main boss of this game. And dude, like I can already tell you, like this is one of the best Mario games I think I've played. It's fucking
That's awesome.
awesome. It's so good, Chase. It's so
So, like,
goddamn good.
I'm in the same boat as you. Even though like I heard that everybody say this was the greatest one, I also haven't played it. I mean,
Dude,
I played like a couple of hours a handful of years ago, but like not nearly enough. It also I don't know why it just missed me as well. Like
I know.
why would I not play a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time, Paper Mario? And I just didn't. I there were a lot of
Dude,
GameCube games I somehow missed,
I
despite owning a GameCube for a very long time.
I told Zoe this when we were playing V Rise. I'm like, I'm gonna get off because I was gonna play more of this. And when I was talking to her about the remake, she didn't put two and two together. And when she finally understood, she's like, "Wait, you never played this?" She's like, "Bobby, that's like, what are you doing playing with me? Go play that game. It's like one of the best games ever."
Yeah.
So let me run down 8 new things in the remake outside of the look
Okay.
of it. This came
Yeah,
out
I would love to hear
originally
some
in July of 2004. This one just came out last week. So they've added in a bunch of new badges, and this has a really cool badge system. So when you're upgrading your character, there's 3 things you can do: your HP, your FP, which is flower power, that's more of like your magic ability, and then you now have badge count. And so you start off with 3 badge slots, and badges can have, so far I've seen values of they're worth 1, 2, or 3. And you can increase when you level up your character. You get that by upgrading the currency based off like style points and how well you do in battle. You're kind of fighting in front of an audience, think of like a play setup. So they've added in some new badges. An example of one of those, Mario has a jump ability. I've unlocked a multi-jump to where if there's multiple enemies lined up, I can time it right and hit all of them at once, which is really fun. The art and sound's been completely redone for this. I just want to put to rest any concerns folks might have The game runs at 30 frames. It runs incredibly well on the Switch. There's no input issues. There was some hubbub online about this not being at 60 FPS like the GameCube version was. It's a non-issue. This game in handheld looks gorgeous. It runs
I
well.
think really the only question was like whether the timing windows,
and that's not a problem at all.
And yeah, if those are generous enough timing windows, then 30
it's
frames
great.
versus 60 frames really doesn't make a difference. Especially when like the whole aesthetic is paper shit.
Exactly.
Like, who the hell cares if it runs at a lower frame rate? Like, it doesn't need to look smooth. The point is that it kind of looks rough.
Yep.
It's not like you have some incredibly high res Mario.
No, it's quasi turn based anyway. So like it looks awesome. It runs at I think like 960 docked. I'm pretty sure. I might be more. I can't remember. Anyway, it runs really well. That's all you need to know. They added a new NPC called Battlemaster Toad. He just helps you like train and do new, like get familiar with like the input stuff, and he'll pop up here and there. He's a lot of fun. I haven't gotten to this yet, but there's a new pipe room fast travel area, which is going to be a great quality of life. The one that I have finally got is something called the partner ring. So as you unlock partner characters in the game, there's now a fast radial menu by just holding down the L trigger, and you can swap, which is really cool because there's in-world things like puzzling things. So like one of the characters can be knocked away from you, and you can then hold them there and recall them kind of like a boomerang, and then that lets you do some puzzling stuff. The other thing is one of the characters has a hint system, which is really great. So you can also find out who am I talking to and what's going on in this room. There are 2 new secret bosses, and the other thing that's nice is when you defeat a boss, they give you 100 coins for beating a boss. Those are the big updates that's changed here. Other than that, you have a tried and true remake of a beloved game, and the writing has been so fucking good. The characters I'm already just falling in love with. Like, your partners are great. The boss battles, the animations, just the whole thing. Like, when you're in a battle, you can see who's in the audience, and it's usually a mix of people cheering for the enemy and cheering for you. And they can but sometimes a shy guy might sneak a rock into a play, and you have to go and get that rock before you do your battle, or they'll do something stupid to you while you're fighting. It is so fucking great. I've never played this, so you're gonna have to help me here, but I saw somebody who did Mario font on Twitter, and it was Paper Mario is Undertale for millennials. And
okay,
I don't know if
I might say Undertale is Undertale for millennials, but yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, so I'm going to cash in something I don't think I need to cash in. I'm just going to tell you, now that you've stopped Animal Well, I don't know what else you have going on, but I would love for you to play this game.
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. I had this weekend. I had this long Memorial Day weekend. I was like, okay, I'm going to play a video. I'm going to finish Animal Well. Finished Animal Well. Felt good about it. I was going to play a little bit more of Iodine Chronicle, and I did, and it's fine. I'll keep kind of slowly picking away at that until it really pisses me off, and then I'll put it down. And so my choice was, I've got Paper Mario downloaded. I'm not going to make this mistake twice. I'm not going to miss it twice. Or next week is our June preview. We're going to spin the wheel again for me. I should probably play the game that we spun the wheel for the last time. Let's play World of Final Fantasy Maxima. So the choice was between awesome game that I knew I was absolutely going to love and what turned out to be a piece of shit I really don't care about. So obviously I chose wrong.
Dude, I think you are going to adore this video game. I know
do. I will. Like, based on the things you said, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you played the first Paper Mario?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, because it sounded like a lot of the things you were saying for this one, it's like all those apply to like the original game, with like the health points, flower points, point stuff. I love the first game so much, and I love those characters, and I love those mechanics, and it sounds like they just did it more.
They did it more. Like
A Thousand Year Door. And
it might be one of the best sequels ever, dude. Like, if you want to call it a sequel, like, it's just so good.
What I don't understand, though, is why they fucked it up. Like, why, after this, they made Super Paper Mario, which is the Wii game that is not RPG anymore.
No.
And then they just went completely in a different direction where everything was a weird, dumb gimmick with Paper Mario.
And honestly, like, the Origami King was kind of a callback, I think. Like, I loved that game.
They've gotten,
I know the battle system wasn't for everybody, and like playing this one, I'm like, well, I can understand why people would feel so differently about it. But
Yeah.
I got to tell you, man, like I had gaps in my resume for a reason because there was just pandering about some of these. This is the exception, and honestly, like by the time we would have been about a year and some change away from the 360 era at this point when this
Mhm.
game came out. I was figuring out college shit and like myself. This is probably like the point where I was still playing games, but like pretty low point of like balancing
Sure.
other things. I think I'm happy that they did this. Like I was excited because it's something I knew people was obsessed with, but knowing that this year was like Princess Peach Showtime, and then this, I was like, well, they don't have a whole lot. They're kind of winding down the Switch because we know the Switch 2 is coming. But
Mhm.
what a fucking thing! What a fucking thing, man! Like it's
Great
about
window remake.
30 to 35 hours. I am just loving it. I cannot tell you enough good things about this video game that people have probably been screaming for 20 years now. So better late than
That's
never,
awesome.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad it's in a form that more people can play it, that
Yep.
I can play it. I would rather not have to dig into a closet to find my Wii to put the GameCube
I
disc
know,
in that's
man.
backwards compatible to do blah blah blah. Yeah, I
I
mean,
like this game so much, it's making me want to reconsider some of our stances on Game of the Year stuff. How about that?
okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's especially interesting that this is coming out and at least critically successful. I don't know how commercially it's doing, but
Oh, it's
we just
getting
had
good reviews.
yeah, well, yeah, critically. I just
Yeah.
hope people are
Yeah.
actually buying it. Because the thing I'm worried about is we just a couple years ago the developer of the Mario and Luigi series went away, and like
Yeah.
that is really the only reason I can think of why Paper Mario stopped being Paper Mario is because
Oh, yeah.
we have Mario and Luigi, which was a similar Mario themed RPG with turn based combat. It was different, but it was similar. And
Yeah.
so I imagine that's why, okay, we're not going to do Paper Mario anymore. We're going to do weird experiments with Paper Mario because we've got this other thing that is more traditional RPG. Like that developer went away. Like they remade Bowser's Inside Story and then they were done. They were done
Yep.
before Bowser's Inside Story even came out, if I remember right. So if there is a clamoring now for new Mario RPG content, where's that going to come from? Who are we
I
going to get
know.
a brand new Paper Mario
I,
that sticks to these controls? Are we
I,
going to get a new Mario and Luigi in some form or fashion?
well, I think this is
You
doing
know,
better than Princess Peach when it comes to like reception and just
sure,
purchases. And I also think that the Super Mario RPG remake did actually pretty
right?
well.
Totally.
And so maybe they're seeing like, hey, we
Fuck,
know
I got to play
Origami.
that one too.
I know, man. Or I know Origami King. Play this one before that one. Origami
Yeah.
King did well. Those remakes did well. This is doing well. I I love this. I don't know if you ever saw it. I think a couple years ago somebody did like a little either small GIF or I can't remember how much of it was done. Somebody made like a Legend of Zelda paper Legend of Zelda. I don't know if you ever
Yeah.
saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, it was awesome. But
That'd be pretty cool.
the badges here remind me a lot of what they were doing with Super Mario Bros. Wonder and like how you can
Oh,
equip
okay.
things
That's
like
an
that
interesting
would give
thought.
you some abilities into it. So I
Yeah.
see the now that I'm playing this, I'm like, well, shit, like there's some connected tissue. Like they brought that into a new modern Mario, and it worked really well. So I don't know. I think Paper Mario's here to stay. I really do. I think that Paper Mario's safe.
I hope
But
so. I hope Paper Mario is safe in this kind of form because
yes,
I don't want them to keep going back to new experimental stuff. Like I don't I thought Sticker Star was okay, but it's not the Paper Mario you want. Super Paper Mario is not the Paper Mario you want. Color Splash was trying to get there but wasn't quite there. Origami
yeah,
King was really close,
yeah,
but it wasn't what I was looking for exactly. But
yeah, man.
this kind of Paper Mario, if you
This
can
is some
find,
fucking Paper Mario, man. Like
yeah,
hot damn. I think that I don't like I'll take it a step further. I don't think Nintendo knows what to do with Mario right now. I really don't. And I think that I think Wonder was an awesome experimentation for them. I really liked that game. I think people kind of were hot and then pretty cool on it. I know that we got a hell of an open world Mario on the Switch, like one of the best.
yeah.
Um, but
Well,
I think
I think that's maybe the bigger thing is that a lot of people are clamoring for new 3D Mario, like
Yep.
2D Mario. Some
Yep.
people like it's fun. I really like 2D Mario. I had a really
Yeah.
good time with Wonder. I
Yeah.
didn't finish it. I didn't get super far into it, but I enjoyed my time with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people are always wondering what's like the next big 3D Mario going to be, and I they would be fools not to have a new 3D Mario locked and ready to go for Switch 2.
Totally.
So I imagine
Dude, give me
this
more
is all
Bowser's
just.
Fury, baby.
I just imagine everything is under wraps. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
real quiet as we're finishing this system. We're working on this game. We're gonna do an N64 style, put out the system and the game together, like you remember. I can
Yep.
see that happening, and it's just a matter of time of when Nintendo actually announces the Switch 2 and what they're going to announce with it. Because I mean,
Yeah.
you remember when the Switch got announced. In fact, I'm going to talk about it later here in the June preview. But the lineup they showed
Yeah.
when they revealed the Switch, they talked about, hey, news. Here's the new Zelda.
Yeah.
Here's snipper clips. Here's a bunch of interesting stuff. Here's we're gonna make a Shin Megami Tensei 5, and it's gonna be on this fucking system. Everybody lost their
Crazy.
fucking minds, and then it didn't come out for years. But it was there. We're gonna make a new Fire Emblem, motherfuckers. Like
God.
these are the kinds of things they announced when they debuted the system. So I imagine they're probably going to have some similar kinds of bangers that they have
Oh,
just
sure.
not been talking about that they will do when Switch 2 actually gets announced.
Hell yeah, man. So that's we talked about a lot of things. We did some check-ins on some of the games we've been checking out. Chase beat Animal Well, which is awesome. Didn't love the new the old new Final Fantasy for him. V Rising continues to be great, and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door remake is a delight that you should check out. Those are the games we've been playing. Let's check in on how things are looking last month and how things are looking for the month ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds great to me. All right, let's start by looking back at the month of May and seeing how we did. So, Bobby, you had a handful of games here on your picks from your list last month. You have Zetzillions.
Yes, I have it downloaded. I was going to play it on Monday, and I forgot we were taking the day off for the holiday. So we will be dusting that off on a future casual Monday because that game rules.
Yeah, and it does. We played a lot in early access and before it actually came out, so we're well aware of how much that game rules. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which we just talked about. Haunty? I don't even remember what's Haunty.
Haunty's gorgeous looking. It's that really kind of like pulled out isometric. You're haunting objects.
Okay.
Looked awesome. I have it downloaded. It's a Game Pass game, so I've got that locked and loaded. But those last two games I mentioned have been taking all my time.
Sure. Yeah. And yeah, you had Animal Well and V Rising as well, which we discussed.
Love.
And me, just a shorter list of Bobby's stuff, but I also had Paper Mario and Animal Well, which we just talked about and feel pretty good about.
Hell yeah.
And then there certainly wasn't a third person on here last month who made any picks, so
Nope.
I guess we'll just move on.
Never again.
Let's move on to the free stuff that you can get in the month of June, and we got a handful of things here.
Yeah.
For PlayStation Plus Essential, that is the one that you just get PlayStation Plus for. You don't have to pay the extra or the premium or whatever the fuck they call them. This is the old PlayStation Plus games that you got. SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake, which
did that one get good reviews? One of these newer ones got decent reviews.
Yeah,
I thought
it was like one of those remakes that got good reviews. This might be the one. I don't know. They're all like 3D platformer things. I don't know.
Yeah.
AEW Fight Forever, which I own. I own the Switch. Switch is probably not the best running system for that.
I forgot you. We did a quick look at this, didn't we?
We did. Yeah. It's fine. I think it's fine. I think this would be a totally fine game, especially when it's free for PlayStation Plus members. Go grab it. I think it's something that you're gonna have a lot more fun with other people than playing alone. But still, it's a decent time, especially if you're looking for those kind of like really classic N64 Aki style wrestling games. This is the closest thing you're going to get these days. That's like an official release. So try it out, especially when it's free. And Streets of Rage 4, which is a really solid video game.
Patrick loved that game.
Yeah, he really did. I played a tiny bit of this. It was on one of my buddy's bachelor parties, or just needed to hang out and do something on my own and not drink with people. I was like, maybe I'll just play a little bit of Streets of Rage 4, and it's good. I am not the biggest fan of beat 'em ups like that, but I like this game quite a bit. Streets of Rage 3 is my Streets of Rage. I know 2 is the one for most people, but I like 3.
Hell yeah.
Bobby, I'm going to throw it back over to you for some Game Pass. Anything we got going on there that's exciting?
We do have some new stuff coming out on Game Pass. I did include 2 games that launch on Game Pass tomorrow. So May 30th, you get Humanity, that really slick puzzle game that you and I played, which is a great grab for Game Pass. And then another one that folks really liked is Lords of the Fallen, which is that Souls-like that got some really great reception. So you can check that out. June 4th, a game that we don't have on our list that did look cool. It's called Firework. So that comes out on the 4th. And then another one on the 4th is called Rolling Hills Make Sushi Make Friends. And then on June 9th, Crash Bandicoot is coming to Game Pass. And on the 18th, Still Wakes the Deep, which I don't think we're covering any of these in our actual picks this month. Nope. But who knows? Maybe one of those will stand out and you'll hear about it on a future episode.
Yeah, I try to be a little picky when we get onto these monthly monthly previews, just because usually there's so many games that is not necessarily the case this month. But also, I think it's boring just to talk about a bunch of stuff that we go, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
So we don't really worry about that too often.
Yep. Totally get it.
Yeah, Bobby, you got the wrong wheel.
I got the wrong wheel? That's the one.
That's a 2023 October birthday edition.
Will you paste the link for the one beneath that one for me?
Yep, I can do it.
I guess that might just be saved in like the hyperlink that we bring over.
We have to fix.
I can do that.
It's also a problem because sometimes I will update the wheel with new games and then it doesn't update it for.
I just thought you wanted to
it gives you a brand new
pick from a more condensed, good version of your list rather than.
I mean, this is a pretty sweet list with a lot of pretty cool games on it, but I think we would. I think I'd prefer to get the big wheel.
Yeah, dude, do your thing. I need to fix one of these really quick.
Try that link.
Trying the link. Hey, hang on. Let's get this pulled up here. Hey, that looks like the link we're looking for.
That looks like a big stupid wheel. Yeah,
let's spin it.
Wheel. Spin that wheel.
What are we gonna get?
What am I gonna be playing?
Pray tell.
Hope it's better than World of Final Fantasy.
All right, I played this.
I haven't seen the name yet. Oh, Virginia. Okay.
Yeah. This is a 3 to 4 hour game, dude.
I love a short game.
Yep. I play this. I'm curious to talk to you about it. I think we did talk about this on the show at one point in time, but I definitely played it.
I've heard people talk about this game. I remember Austin Walker had really nice things to say about this game, and sweet. That's
man.
Happy to play some Virginia. That'll be great.
Hell yeah, man. Great.
In 1 month's time, I will have finished Virginia.
It won't take you that long, I don't think.
We will see.
Sweet. Virginia, and I think I played that on PlayStation, but I do believe it's on the Switch, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
And you can probably get that thing on PlayStation cheap. I
might already own it on Switch. Who knows?
Yeah. Virginia. That thing kind of came and went, but it was.
I don't see it on Switch, so I guess I'll have to grab it on Steam or PlayStation.
Steam or that PlayStation.
Yeah. Sweet.
There you go, man. You could have done a lot worse.
Hey, nothing but bangers on this list, except World of Final Fantasy Maxima, which is now no longer on the list. So we're great. Everything's fine.
You've corrected your sins, apparently, right?
Yeah, sure. This might do. Here, I'm just sorry. I'm taking it off the list, so I make sure.
Oh, you're good, dude.
On there ever again.
You never want to see it or hear it again.
All right, Virginia. Looking forward.
Speaking of things that we never want to see or hear again.
Hey.
I'm living clean, man. Don't judge me.
I too am living clean. They're doing their best though. They're doing their best to pull me back in. So let's start with our month of June and see what games we got here. On the 4th of June, Destiny 2: The Final Shape comes to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X.
All the things.
Yeah, all the things. I'm curious.
Hey, as a wrestling fan, I have to finish the story.
I do. I
And
kind of want to
and
do
here's
that.
what's going to happen. I'm going to call it right now. They're going to talk about all the nostalgia from Destiny, and they're going to try and get me to download this again. They're going to throw up some weapons that I loved from Destiny.
Yep.
And then I'm going to say, I'm not doing this. And then one night I'm going to be like, Chase, let's play Destiny. And I'm going to play it for one night. I'm going to be like, why did I spend $100 on this? It's the same shit. And then I end up getting mad and saying, I'm never doing this again. And I've done that for years now.
Well, see, you'll do that, and that'll be your one night, and you'll be pissy about it. If you do that, and we play that one night, you've hooked me again. You will have hooked me again for months.
They're already doing it. There's Gallahorn. These motherfuckers, they know what they're doing.
Oh, Gallahorn's already been in the game.
I have it. I know.
Red Death is coming back.
Well, isn't the Kostava, or what is it? The one
Kvastov. Yeah.
Kvastov, isn't that coming back?
That's coming back.
God damn it. That's one of the best guns in that fucking game, too.
It's so good.
That's so worth the price of admission. See?
It might be. It might be.
See what I'm talking about? These motherfuckers. Fuck you, Luke Smith, you goddamn asshole.
I don't think Luke Smith is the
I don't care.
These days.
There's all kinds of problems.
Not Joe Blackburn either. He's also gone. But yeah, they added a new subclass, or not a new subclass.
Prism.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. It's pinky. It's pinky purple stuff. Looks kind of neat. Lots of new weapons, lots of stuff. I've been trying to not pay attention, honestly, but
life's better when you don't.
Some of my Destiny YouTubers starting to see some stuff, and I want to watch a couple of these videos. So far, it's just been looking at thumbnails and going like, "Oh, Kvastov's back. That's cool."
Yep.
But like maybe I'll start watching some of those videos and see how that stuff. I'm keeping my plan. I'm not playing this day one.
Yeah.
I'm chilling. I'm waiting to see if people think it's good or bad. But I am.
Are you going to buy it regardless?
I was thinking a couple nights ago. Did I already buy this? Did I buy this?
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be out back when you were living dirty.
Did I pre-order this? I don't remember. I don't remember if I pre-ordered this, and I'm kind of too scared to check. I don't. If I see that I have pre-ordered it, then I'm going to feel really bad about not playing it. It's like, oh, it's the thing I bought already. I should play it. But
get in line. Put it on the wheel. We'll see. Let Destiny define Destiny.
I don't want that. I don't even want a chance of that. So we'll see.
Okay.
At the moment, though, I'm happy playing other video games. I would rather play Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door way before I play.
Hell yeah. That's a video game, baby.
I feel at peace right now.
Good.
But we'll see. There's always a chance they can pull me back. I'll tell you something that won't pull me back or pull me to begin with, and that is another game that's coming out on the 4th. That is Star Wars Hunters, which comes to Switch.
Man, this thing's been talked about for a very long time.
It really has. Switch and mobile, so iOS and Android stuff. I remember seeing this. So here's the thing that I have to do is that every month I have to make a monthly preview for us. And that means going through a big list of video games, and then Wikipedia doesn't always have all the games, so I go to a couple other places, and then they sometimes don't have all the games either. So then, just for my own edification, I go to the Switch eShop and just scroll down and see if there's any like shovelware garbage that might be interesting enough to talk about. Sometimes that's pulled in a game or two that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But as you do that, and you get past the month that you're in, and then you go a little further, and always at the bottom of that list was Star Wars Hunters. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And
nobody knows.
Nobody had ever told me what Star Wars Hunters was. I just kept seeing the screen, and that was it, and the title. And apparently, what it is boring.
Is it Overwatch?
It's Overwatch meets a MOBA. And
so like, this is what Valve's making too. Valve's got a rumored one of those coming out.
I'm sure. This man, I like Star Wars, but this is.
Dude, I will tell you right now, I want nothing to do with hero shooters at all. Yeah. I cannot think of a genre of video game that I find more repulsive at this point. it's
I
just
had my fun. I had my fun with them. Like I
yeah.
played a little bit of Overwatch, and it was like, okay, this is all right. And I've tried a couple others. It's not my thing.
Nope.
They're either built to be too competitively based, like you have
Yep.
like a Valorant thing where it's like, oh, we're going for these competitive gamers. Like, that ain't me. I don't want that. I want someone chill. Um, and even when they are chill, it's still generally not the kind of genre I'm
No,
looking
I
for.
have no desire, man.
So well, I think some of these things are fun. Like I think it's fun that there's a guy who's hollowed out a droideka and he's one of
Yes.
the heroes in there. That's cool. Love
Yep.
that. There's three
Yep.
Jawas stacked on top of each other. That's
Love
fun.
that. Yep.
That's a fun
It's
idea.
cool shit,
Yeah, it's neat.
but not
It's a
the
Wookiee.
genre. Yeah.
You could be a Wookiee. But like I would just rather play Battlefront at this point. I'd
Put
just
these
go
fucking
back
cool,
and
like make Battlefront weird shit like this. Don't make this like don't make it a 4x4 hero MOBA. Make
yeah.
Battlefield not have or Battlefront not have to follow a fucking story arc that Star Wars does. Just let them go do weird shit.
Yeah, I should really download that Battlefront Classic Collection.
I don't know if you should. I
Um,
heard it was pretty rough.
Maybe, but like maybe it's been fixed at this point. Also, I just really love those games. I
Yeah.
love those games. I love the space combat in Battlefront 2 so much.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
good.
even very good, but I just have so many fun.
It's fun, man.
Yeah, this is not for us. I mean, Bobby's got the fucking Rebel Alliance logo on
I'm
his
wearing
hat
it,
right now.
dude.
He's the biggest Star Wars fan I've ever seen. Anytime I've said anything remotely negative about Star Wars, this man is here to be like, I don't know, I loved it, and yet we both can come in agreement, hands clasped, and
Not
go,
tonight.
not for us.
Not now, not ever. Not my chair.
Exactly. See us on the Star Cruiser. All right, let's get moving on to the 10th, where we've got Rocket Knight Adventures Resparked, which is coming to PC, Switch, and PS4.
Is this a remake?
It's a collection of old games.
Okay.
Remake is too strong a word.
Yeah.
This is just a collection of ports. So, Bobby, I'm guessing you haven't played Rocket
No,
Knight.
I played it.
Okay.
I played it.
This was one of my favorite Genesis games growing up.
Yeah.
I loved playing Rocket Knight Adventures. It was so much fun for me. I was bad at it. I never got very far, but I loved
It was
Sparks as a
hard.
character. I loved his move set.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the music. I thought this game was
Oh, museum mode. Cool.
it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a collection of 3 games: Rocket Knight Adventure, Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventure 2, and Sparkster, which is not the same thing as Rocket Knight as Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventure 2, but is also a sequel to Rocket Knight Adventure, but it's a separate sequel that's different.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously, you're
Yeah.
following me.
We follow along. Yeah. This
I'll
makes
tell you,
sense.
I didn't even know. Like when I saw this collection and they said, "Oh, it's 3 games," and I looked and saw the 3 games. Like, well, it's 2, but it's just like the Genesis version of Sparkster and the Super Nintendo version of Sparkster. That's really disingenuous to call it 3. No, that's not the case. It actually is 3 games. I just did not know these 2 games that have the exact same box art, by the way, were actually different video games.
What the hell? That's.
I mean, this isn't exactly uncommon. There was an Aladdin game for Super Nintendo.
Oh, that's right.
And Genesis, and it had the same
different
box art, but they were different games. The Lion King had different.
Yeah, that's
true.
It
had different versions. There's some games, but like this is not a property like Jurassic Park where it's like, oh, we can just make different games and call it the same thing or whatever. This is a video game first. This is Konami. They're a video game company. They know how to make fucking video games. They should know how to market video games. It's like, why'd you do this? This also does not include, as you can see, these are all the 16-bit games. This does not include the 2010 reboot of Rocket Knight Adventures that came out on the Xbox One. I think it came out on the Xbox One.
Dude, I have no idea.
Which I think that's a bummer because that would be something interesting to actually collect all of the Sparkster games together, but they're not doing that. There's only the ones that are incredibly easy to emulate, and Konami's like, actually $30, please. And I don't think a
money,
museum
please,
mode is enough.
No,
like a museum mode, a boss rush
cool.
mode. I don't think that's enough for me to part with $30 when I could just play all these games on an emulator for free incredibly easily.
Yep.
Again, if you threw in the 2010 Rocket Knight Adventures for the Xbox One, maybe we'd be talking something different here. Like, okay, there's something that I can't easily find a copy of, but not this. So I'm going to say this
Yeah.
one's a fail as well. Let's move on to the 11th. V Rising, maybe you've heard of it, is
Uh,
coming to PlayStation 5.
hey, you should play that.
Maybe.
It's good.
I would probably play it on a PlayStation 5 before playing it on a PC.
Yeah.
Those things are cross compatible, right?
I think you can just go to the server. So once you have that
Yeah.
information, then you're just in there with us.
Well, I'll consider it.
Yeah.
It. Probably not, but I'll consider it.
Yeah.
On to the 14th, Monster Hunter Stories is coming to Switch, PS4, and PC.
I'm surprised it's taking this long.
Yeah, I mean the second game was pretty. I think they made an iPad version.
They did.
Right?
This was on iPad before it came to 3DS and then iPad.
Yeah, so this I think is a port of the iPad version. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it's got some extras to it.
A remaster version, fully voiced.
Yeah, so there are some new things for this. I'm not sure if that was also in the iPad version, and this is just like what's new from the 3DS original, or if this is brand new stuff. Either way, I think the fully voiced stuff is kind of interesting. This game fucking rules.
You love this
game. This game is so fucking good. This was my 2017 game of the year.
Yep. You think you'll pick it up again?
I think I will buy this again. I don't think I will play this again.
Just to have it in the library.
Yeah, I think just to have it, to have both Monster Hunter Stories 1 and 2 on my Switch, I think is something I want to do. But to go back again, this is my game of the year for 2017. You know what else came out 2017? I mean,
Destiny 2.
It's on the comments. What?
Destiny 2?
No.
Oh.
Did it?
Maybe? No.
I don't think so. I think that was
what else did?
Before Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, which that game was like number 3. Sonic Mania was number 2 for me. So like that's kind of where I was that year. And I love Fire Emblem Echoes, but I liked this game more. I think if you ask me today, Fire Emblem Echoes is so much better than this game.
Wasn't this the same year that Monster Hunter Worlds came out? That was 2018.
Yeah, that was this last year was the Monster Hunter Stories 2 and Monster Hunter
that's right.
proper came out, and I'm over here talking about the cool one, and you guys are talking about the lame one that everybody loves. This game's so good, though. I think I like a lot of things about this game more than I like Wings of Ruin, the sequel. They're both really good games, but I think there's something just really cool about this game. I've got the amiibos, like the Japanese only amiibos for this game that are really fucking rad. That's a Rathalos amiibo, Bobby.
I think cool? I have one. I have a Rathala or a Rathalos. I got the one that came out.
You have the one from 2 though.
Yeah.
So 2 they brought out to America. They had the amiibos, but the first ones didn't. Anyway, this game's great. People should play this game.
Hell yeah.
Like I've said before about other games.
Is it full priced? Cool.
I believe that it is.
Okay.
I believe that it is. Yeah. Would not surprise me, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I think it's kind of rock, paper, scissors combat. That the Monstie, they call them Monsties in there, kind of does its own thing, but you get to do whatever you want as an attack. I think that stuff's really interesting.
Yeah.
It's actually really interesting to put a game like this next to World of Final Fantasy Maxima.
Oh, sure.
And be like, hey, here's a way that we tried to warp our franchise into a turn-based RPG that's kind of a different thing. And the way they did it here is just leaps and bounds better than the way they do it in Final Fantasy, of ways of bringing you classic characters and monsters, but in a way that is much more interesting and much more palatable. So
totally,
please go out and buy this game if you haven't already. Because it's
a hell of a thing. Right on, man.
Also on the 14th, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance is coming to PC,
finally, Switch,
PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. So, like we mentioned before, this was a launch. This game got announced at the Switch launch debut. When they announced the Switch, they also announced this. That was when was that? Like that was 2017, right?
2017, yeah.
Yeah. Shin Megami Tensei 5 came out in 2021, 4 years after that. So obviously it took them a while, even though it was announced with the original Switch. I remember this game coming out, and people were so hyped for it. A new SMT game. They had all the Persona hype that was going into it, and then it came out, and I don't remember anybody talking about it ever again.
Nope. I just
That's
don't think
wild.
that I don't think that these games can stand up with Persona anymore. Like I know that they paved a way, but like I
Yeah.
just don't think they can.
And I think that was true a while ago. I
Hmm.
think that was true. I remember SMT4 came out on the 3DS, and even then, people didn't care nearly as much as what the next Persona thing was going to be. I own a copy of 4, and never played it, and I should someday. I
Yeah,
don't remember if it's on the wheel or not. It's an incredibly long
assuredly.
RPG. But yeah, I just don't really have interest in 5. I don't like the look of this main character. Um, without the persona-ness, I think there's just something kind of missing out of
Yep,
out of
I would
this that
agree.
I'm
It
just
just
not as
seems
interested
not my thing.
in. Yep.
Not my thing.
Let's move on to something that is your thing. Coming out on the 20th is Dice Folk for the Switch. So this is just a port of Dice Folk.
Yeah,
It came out on
that game
PC in
rules.
February. That game's great. We like Dice Folk here.
Yeah,
Cool that it's coming to the Switch. That's going to
this
be
is
a
a
great
great
platform
place for
for
it.
it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to play real well there. I think people will like it there. So go check out Dice Folk. On the 21st, Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC is coming out
Yeah.
to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Bobby, I'm really curious how you feel about this because you played
Hmm.
Elden Ring. You're neither of us are a Dark Souls fan. That was left to a former co-host of ours. Um,
Yeah.
but you gave this one a shot. I remember you enjoying parts of it.
Yeah. I
How
think
did
this is
this strike you?
well. This is going to be incredible. I think for a lot of reasons. I think this is going to be a monolith of a thing for folks, regardless of where you're at on enjoying these types of games. What they've put into this looks absolutely incredible. I mean, scope and scale for it to be DLC is. I feel bad calling it DLC because of how big this game is.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what. I think this is the closest I will ever get to liking a FromSoft game, but at the end of it, there's just so much about these games I dislike that even the wonderful exploration of the game, and I give it another shot. Like I'm definitely gonna play this just because I'm curious about what they're doing with it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing every time. It's just like this, what we're watching. I don't want to die repeatedly. I don't have the time or patience for this. And it becomes something that's not fun. Like, I don't care if I beat a challenging boss in a video game anymore. That's something I used to like ape after back in the day. Anymore, like,
Yeah.
I've got limited time to enjoy something, and this is just not enjoying for me. Like, it's just not how I want to spend my time.
Um, do you know how this DLC works? I know FromSoft has done stuff with like Dark Souls DLC before, where it's
They
like, oh, we
they
hid it, we
showed it
hid
at
it
the
in the world,
beginning
you can't
here.
find it.
It's this here. Where's that hand at? That right there. This is in the
So like you
game.
know where this place is, you know how to find it,
Mhm.
you know how to access the DLC.
Yep,
Okay,
that's where it's gonna go.
because again, that has not been the case for all their stuff, which a lot of people liked. A lot of the
Yeah,
hardcore Souls fans liked. Like,
I
oh
mean, I
yeah,
don't know
there's
for certain if that's it, but that's what like that is what the internet says is that's where the
I see.
DLC goes. So
Okay.
yeah,
Well, cool. I mean, this is also like the Dark Souls you go play with your friends. So I know, your cousin Jason played this.
I might. You might Zoe plays it, so you might see us dust us off on a Friday sometime,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. But chances are, probably not.
All right. And then on the 27th, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD comes to the Nintendo Switch. So this
Yeah.
is the second Luigi's Mansion, as
Hmm.
the title might imply. Um, and it was used to be called Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon on the
I
3DS,
remember that.
and that came out in 2013. This is the only Luigi's Mansion I've played, which is weird
I
because
think
I
it's
didn't
one of the
play
only
very
ones I
much.
haven't played.
Yeah, that's what happens when I'm a weird handheld gamer and everybody wants to play the home console stuff. Because the first one came on the GameCube and the third one came out on the Switch. Um, so I didn't get very far in this at all. I mean, I think it's really cool.
Hmm.
Again, I feel like this is just a broken record thing. I think it's really cool to see something get a second life on a more modern
Yep.
system. A lot of people didn't play this one because it was on the 3DS, and I think that's a shame. I think people
Yeah.
should play games that are cool, and these games are cool and interesting. And hey, we did something with Luigi. Like that first game came out at the launch of the GameCube because Nintendo didn't have a new Mario
No.
game ready to go, and this was the closest thing to a new Mario game, and it pissed a lot of people off because it's not a Mario
I
game.
know.
um, but
It
I
ended
think
up being really good.
his history has really looked fondly on this, and
Yeah.
a lot of people have changed their minds and said, "Hey, this is actually a really cool experiment. They did some cool stuff here," and now they've had 3 games, and the third one is incredibly popular, right?
Oh yeah, it's really great, and I think that I'll check this one out for sure.
So like the first game was one mansion. Dark Moon
Mhm.
here is multiple mansions, and then 3 is a hotel that's like a bunch of
Yeah.
floors that are all
Yep.
themed. So I think that's pretty cool. I like the way they developed that stuff. Um, the only thing that's weird for me is like the first game is not available to play on the Switch. They made a port of the first game on the 3DS. Um,
I think that'll end up. I think there's going to be something that happens in the next Switch with the Nintendo Switch Online stuff, where they add in some
yeah,
of those type things.
um, yeah. I would really like to play the first Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
At this point, I think I'd like to start from the beginning with these and play a series that I really don't know a whole lot about.
Hey, you've got a
Before
capture
I would jump
card,
into the second one.
and you've got a YouTube channel. That would be a great thing to do.
It's true.
Yeah.
That is certainly an option.
Yeah.
GameCube stuff is not the best emulation, but there are definitely ways to do that.
Yeah.
Or I could just hook up that Wii with
Yeah.
the GameCube titles. I don't think I own Luigi's Mansion. Maybe I do. Maybe I bought it later and just said, "Oh, I should have this." I don't know. I'm sure copies are not the most expensive thing to get. But yeah, that basically wraps up the month of June. Not a lot of games
No.
that we listed out, but obviously this is the month of June. This is the
Yeah.
no longer E3 time. This is Summer
Key
Games
3.
Fest. This is Key 3 is in full swing these days. There is a PlayStation State of Play. Depending on when you're listening to us, if you're listening to us live, it's tomorrow. If you're listening to this on Friday when it goes up, it was yesterday. Bet it was cool.
Yeah.
Did you see that Silent Hill stuff?
Oh, shit.
There's also like a Silent Hill thing going on after the PlayStation.
Oh,
State of Play,
fair.
So like that was just me knowing a thing.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, this I have to imagine that like a lot of years there are companies that are sandbagging and just
There'll be
haven't
some stealth
announced
shit
their
for
stuff.
sure.
Yeah, there will be some stealth releases. There will be some announcements that we're going to see in the next couple weeks that will just show up on storefront. So any picks that we make, just keep that in mind. It's all kind of null and void as soon as Sony comes out and goes, "Oh, actually, this video game you didn't think was coming out is coming out. It's coming out tomorrow." They could
Here I am.
have the Metal Slug Tactics.
Oh,
They
that
have
could be
Metal
out.
Slug Tactics just stealth launch, and we go, "Oh fuck, that could be our game of the year." I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, could be. Who the fuck knows?
So with that in mind, Bobby, it's time for us to make some picks.
Let's do it.
Again. I'm not going to hold you to. When July comes around, I will not give you shit if you
Fair.
didn't mention Game X or Game Y because we just didn't know about that.
This might be one of the months where I don't play everything I say I'm going to play, but I'm going to do my best.
All right. Well, what do you got?
Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, and Monster Hunter Stories. I'll probably play Elden Ring as I'll have it in the shared library, but
Sure.
Monster Hunter
And that's also
Stories.
brand new. Like the other things.
Yeah.
Are remake.
Yeah. I've got a few things I need to button up still, so I'm going to use June as a time to do that. And I'm going to clear off some of the stuff that's basically gotten me from January to June, and then hit the ground running for the back half of the year. What about you?
Nice. For me, this is a pick solely for the audience.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Stories. Go play that. Go play that
Yeah.
fucking game. That game's
Yep.
so good.
Hell yeah.
I imagine that I will buy it. I'll probably wait until it goes on sale because, again, I have no need to play that immediately. I know what that game is. I know it's great. But someday I will just have that in the library because I want to make sure it's there. But that is my singular pick. I think, like you, I'm going to use June as a way to kind of catch up again, unless Nintendo drops something crazy
big
that I need to play that day. But for the most part, I think it's going to be still picking at Aiden Chronicle. It's going to be playing Thousand Year Door. It's going to be playing Virginia now.
Yeah.
And I think I'm more interested in just ticking a couple things up my list rather than buying some new stuff that I'm not super excited about.
Fair.
All right, Bobby, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Yeah,
That's
appreciate it, man. Thanks for
June.
pulling that together. We've got a shorter week this week. We took Monday off for the holiday. We talked about all those games coming out this month. And then we also have Ghost of Tsushima, where I'll be streaming that on Friday night. That could change if somebody wants to hop on and play something with me. But we are looking forward to sharing more of those things. I don't know why our social links aren't working here, but that's what we got going on. Chase, what do you have happening?
Yeah, I got a couple things. There was a new episode of my YouTube channel, Let's Play of Advance Wars 2. It's called Black Hole Sun, and this was episode 4, I think. This is episode 4, and there's a part I was really struggling with, and I found a way around it. So it's an episode of Triumph. So you should go check that out. Chasey K Plays on YouTube. Go find it there.
Nice.
And then I have another podcast I do. It's called Pilot Program that I do with my good friend Pierce Crochane, our good friend of the show, Pierce Crochane. And he and I watched the first episodes of every television show ever made. That newest episode just came out this last weekend, and it was on Freaks and Geeks, which was a really good show that we were both going back to. We'd both seen it before. We had a guest on, our first guest, who was aware of the show but hadn't seen it, so it was really cool to get a new perspective like that to bounce off of us. And then we also announced what our next episode is going to be. It's going to be on Fallout, the show from this year.
Pray tell.
Which will be fun. And we're going to bring on a couple of ringers. We bring on some guy named Bobby Pease.
Me.
And then some other guy named Johnny M. So we'll have a full boat for that episode, and that'll be a lot of fun. I still haven't watched Fallout yet, so I'm really excited to see what that's like and talk about it on the show with all of us. You can find more about that on the social link, or you can just go to shows.acast.com/pilot.
Should be a hell of a time. I'll be back live on Friday. Come say what's up and check out Ghost of Tsushima. We'll be back next Monday, probably with some